is one big part at the same time, but by pulling the dirt around the bottom of the plant, it's going to increase that root production.
Even though having a garden in 1790 was certainly an asset, it wasn't the most important thing.
The diet in the 18th century is very heavily focused on meat and grain and bread, and so these sorts of things actually referred to as sauce in the period quite often, and it's sort of an extra thing, which is definitely good to have, and a lot of families do grow gardens, but it's it doesn't have quite the same, vegetables don't have the same place on the American table in the 1790s that they do nowadays.
The oxen team was extremely important to farmers in 1790 because they were needed to do all the heavy work. The oxen were put together at a young age as steers before the training began. It took a lot of time and effort to train these animals, which meant working with them on a daily basis. It was also important to keep them well cared for and in good shape in order for them to be able to keep up with the workload. The oxen were taught the commands that they would have to follow.
And they do recognize their names as well. So you can say, "Come up, Duke," and he'll come up, and you can say, "Step in, Bo," and he'll step in.
Once the oxen were fully trained, working with them was relatively easy. The farmer used a stick, or goad, to direct them.
Well, sometimes you can actually get them to do what you want just with the goad in your body position. If you want them to go left, you kind of hold back and keep the stick this way, or you might get it over there on the other side of them, and they'll know that you do that every time we go left, and they'll get the feeling that we're going left. And the same for right. I'll put this in front of his face, and we'll say G, might not even say G, and back up. They'll be tapping their legs perhaps a little bit to go back and come up. If they need it, if I really need them to listen, I'll tap them just a little bit, but I use that very sparingly. They really respect you when you have the goad.
The oxen are trained to always be on the same side and get confused if they're switched around. The larger or most behaved ox is always kept on the outside.
You want the one that's listening to be further away from you, so that you don't have a cantankerous animal on the other side doing what he wants and you can't control him.
The oxen team were used for many chores, such as plowing, clearing stones from fields, hauling wood, taking in hay, and any other task that was too much for a man. They were a welcome addition to the 1790s farm.
And since we're such a small museum, we can do a pretty good job with the details.
What we're doing is talking about people who were real just like us, who lived and breathed and worked and laughed and cried and played and did all these things, and were real living, breathing human beings. I
think there's a value in thinking about our roots, thinking about different steps along the way of our human history, and there's a value also of a little bit simpler time.
The scenery is gorgeous. And if that's all you like and you want to come and paint, you can come and do that here. You can just pull your easel and your paints out of the back of your car, set yourself up. If you want a beautiful place to sit with your little ones and have a picnic on an afternoon, bring it and come and sit in the field.
You can't really come here just once. You gotta come back and see how that changes and how that's different and what we've learned.
Come see us, because I think you will come back. I think this is a very special place with a special flavor.